In today's video, I am bringing you a huge update with me. At the end, I will have an emotional video, and I also want to bring to you 3 more things I wish I knew before I started chemo. So let's get going. Hey guys, I'm Marina Blackford. Welcome to my channel. I am a breast cancer survivor, and I am currently going through my second breast cancer journey again. I originally had breast cancer in 2015 and diagnosed again last year in 2020. Each time I am triple negative, which means I have a non-hormone responsive breast cancer, which likely means that you would need to do chemo if you're triple negative, hence my experience with chemotherapy. Also, I'm BRCA1 positive, which means I have a genetic mutation that puts me at an increased risk for breast cancer and ovarian cancer. Also, hence me having breast cancer twice. If you are BRCA positive, they will likely tell you to remove everything or have a double mastectomy done. And I did do that in 2015. There is a lot of auxiliary breast tissue though, and that's where I found a lump near my ribs the second time. So it's not common that could happen, but it can happen, and it did. So that brings me to today. So thank you for being here. This channel is all about my life, and a lot of it is bringing cancer and chemo tips. So it's just part of it. Okay, let's get going. Huge update with me. So if you watched my last vlog, I talked about doing my last chemo and vlogging that. I did not get a chance to do that. It kind of was a crazy day, but here's the gist, guys. I have done 15 Taxol and 15 carboplatin chemotherapies this time. My first time I did 4 ANC and 4 Taxol, or 4 ANC and 12 Taxol. So that being said, here's things I wish I knew before chemo. When I did my 15th session of chemo, one thing I wish I knew was that, I'm going to phrase it this way, is that your immune system will be compromised, right? Immunocompromised, you've heard that. What does that mean? It means your white blood cell count and your neutrophils will steadily drop as you do chemo. It's a very common side effect. They will be monitoring that. Your oncology team will be monitoring that. And when it becomes a concern, they're going to point it out to you. It was pointed out to me a couple times. So for most people, it's in a certain range. You know, with chemo, it's going to drop it below that range. And when it's below 1, they typically won't do chemo. And we did pause at one point. And to be honest, when we paused, I really felt like my body needed that break that week. To bring those numbers back up, occasionally they will give you an injection to take home and use, which I did a couple times. I had to give myself an injection for 3 to 5 days after to stimulate your body to make more white blood cells and neutrophils. So that's going to stimulate your bone marrow to make that. As a side effect, you could get some bone pain, and they will tell you to take a Claritin to help with that. So I've done that a couple times. After my 15th one, the date of my 15th one, I was 0.9, and I was so nervous we weren't going to do chemo that day. But they sent me home with a similar but different shot, Neulasta, and it looks like a little pager that goes on the back of your arm. It is attached before you leave your cancer center, and then it beeps and snaps like a rubber band, where it's essentially inserting a little catheter into your arm. And then 27 hours later, it administers medication to stimulate your body to make those white blood cells and neutrophils that make up your immune system. So we did that, and it worked great. It worked so great. It shot my numbers from 0.9 to 31. So really, really high, way above a range for a normal person too. I think that made my body feel like I was fighting an infection though, so I felt really achy some days later, and I ended up getting a fever about 5 days after my 15th treatment. So the next thing I wish I knew is that you can go to the hospital sometimes during chemo. You might need to go to the hospital sometimes during chemo. So I was a fever over 100. I was 100.5. I was achy and I had chills. And I just didn't feel right. I felt like I was fighting an infection. So I called the cancer center after hours. This was Wednesday night. I do chemos on Friday. And they said, you need to go to the hospital and get checked. And so I did. And it's long. It's just like going to the ER. But once they called me back, they did a chest x-ray. They did a COVID swab. They immediately start taking blood to test your blood. They could find no infection in my case. They still administered an IV antibiotic and then sent me home eventually. So just know you may need to go to the hospital at some point if you're not feeling well or if they're concerned about you having a fever due to an infection. So that leads me to going into Friday, I left the hospital Thursday morning, and then Friday I was set to do my last chemo. I was so excited, you guys. Like, I was for sure gonna cry, and trust me, I did cry a lot that day. My sister took me. I dressed nice. My sister stayed with me for my blood work, and we had a tea after. While I was drinking that tea, my oncologist called. So my cancer center is like 3 levels, but they said from the 2nd floor, they called me and said, stay downstairs in labs. Your hemoglobin is really low. We are gonna need you to do a blood transfusion today. This has never happened to me during chemo. So here is the next thing I wish I knew before starting chemo, is that your hemoglobin levels will drop. That's essentially your iron, or when they say you're anemic. It's the biggest part of your white blood, or your red blood cells that carries oxygen through your body. So having low hemoglobin is common during chemo, that those levels will drop. It was just never brought to my attention. I just really wasn't paying attention to it. But it steadily dropped to the point where it was where I needed a blood transfusion. It just caught me off guard. I thought I was gonna get my last chemo. I was so excited to just get chemo and be done and go home. And I was like, what is happening? So they confirmed my blood type, and then I saw my oncologist. And at that point she said, your hemoglobin is low. So you're gonna do 2 blood transfusions today, and then you're just gonna be done. And I was so emotional. I had already cried thinking we were gonna pause chemo, and I cried when they were drawing my blood again, just like saying I just wanted to be done. And then there I was, my oncologist, and I just started crying again because I was so done and so happy. So she said 15 was enough. Let's do your blood transfusion today, and then you're gonna go home and you're gonna recover for surgery. I'm having surgery still to just remove a little bit of tissue in that area. Again, it's near my ribs here, so they do call it a lumpectomy of auxiliary breast tissue. I guess my point is just know that these things might happen during your cancer journey, and guys, they might not happen also, but it's just good to be aware of. Be aware of your labs, make sure someone's talking to you about your numbers, and if you don't feel right, tell somebody, because extreme fatigue, a fever, it can all be signs of something, and they need to check your iron and your white blood cell count and neutrophils, and make sure you don't have an infection, all these things. So anyways, so that's where I'm at. I am done. I am thrilled. 15 Taxol, 15 carboplatin, and guys, I mean, I'm so happy, but it really, I'm still feeling the effects of it. It doesn't always come through in these videos because you just see me being a mom to a toddler and baby and wife, and I work part-time still, but it is still taking its effect as far as, like, I thought I would have more energy already. I was just hopeful, and I don't, but I'm not as bad as when I got chemo. I'm not fighting nausea, and so that's done. So now I'm just, trying to just let my body settle after all of this. And it's the one thing that can make a big change. The one thing that can make you feel better is time, because your body needs time to process all of these things that it's gone through, and it's the one thing you can't control. So just be mindful of that, and just be a little flexible in this journey, because there's going to be hiccups, and just know that the team and the treatment you've chosen are likely the right thing, and you're going to get there. You're going to get through it. Without further ado, here is video of me ringing the bell that I am done with treatment after 2 blood transfusions and 15 Taxol and carboplatin. Take a look.
That's great.
I'm ringing this bell as a way to celebrate everything I've accomplished leading up to this date. I've struggled and battled and fought for a while, so I'm taking this moment to look back and smile. There's more to my future than what's in my past. There are moments of weakness, but I'm strong and steadfast. I will dig deep within and continue to fight for the rest of my life, and that's all that's in sight. I'll grow from pain and the tears I have shed, for there is hope all around me and joy up ahead. I have struggled and battled and fought for a while, so I'm taking this moment to look forward and smile.
Yay!
Yay!
Perfect. Okay, ring that bell, girl. Yay!
Thank you guys for listening to me, being here. I hope this information helps some of you, someone in your life. Stay tuned for more videos. I post weekly videos. So I'm just so happy you're here, and I hope you all have a great day. You can follow me on Instagram at Marina Blackford for more real-time stuff on my stories. And till next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Mom, my hero.